All right, here we go now with the Mets, of course, on spring training sprint. There's Mr. Lindor. There's Verlander out there in the bullpen. Mets will play their first exhibition game this weekend. And they're a big-time team there in that NL East. Anthony DiComo covers them, and he says hello on this busy afternoon. MLB.com. Anthony, welcome. Good to have you aboard. I read the quotes from Steve Cohen that he loved the vibe of the Met clubhouse. You've been there a long time. You know the team. You adhere? Give me your thoughts on that for a sec. Let me hear.
It would be very difficult not to love the vibe here. You look around the clubhouse, you look around the backfields, and this is a set team. There are superstars in every single corner. There are even some prospects coming up. The farm system is better than it was. But look, this is a team that is built to win now. You see it every time you walk around. Max Scherzer's there. Justin Verlander is around another corner. Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso. So, yeah, this time of year, everyone's healthy. Nothing has gone wrong. How could you not love the vibe of this, by the way, the most expensive roster in baseball?
Yeah, $364 million worth. Now, where have they improved from their 101 team last year in the offseason? Where, in your eyes, have they gotten better?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't know if there's an area you can point to where you say, oh, they're definitely better here than they were last year. But let's not forget, they won 101 games last year. Nobody wants to hear it because of what happened at the end, but they don't necessarily need to improve the team. All they need to do is do the same thing and then have it work out differently at the end. And by have it work out differently, I mean, now you've got Scherzer and Verlander as that 1-2 punch in the postseason. You need those guys to show up, pitch well in those huge games and those big games down the stretch if you have another division rivalry with the Braves brewing in September. As long as the ending is different, you don't need to be better. I'm not sure they are. I'm not sure they need to be.
Yeah, that would be worrisome a little bit for me with the Mets, is they have old pitchers. I'm going to leave Senga out of it, but they got old pitchers at the top of the rotation. Scherzer has not been good in the postseason now a couple of years in a row. He seems to be at his best middle of the year. He was not good for L.A. when they lost to Atlanta, and obviously if the Atlanta game and the Padre game wasn't good last year. And Verlander was very choppy in his postseason starts for Houston, and they're both around 40. That would concern me through a postseason run. Let me hear your take with that.
My take, frankly, Chris, is I'm not betting against either of those guys. Truly. I mean, I know what you're saying. I know what the history is for both guys. But if you had bet against Justin Verlander last year, you would have been wrong. He won in the postseason. He won in the World Series. So I don't love the idea of betting against Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander. If anyone is going to thrive into their late 30s, into their 40s, Justin Verlander just turned 40 on Monday. If anyone can do it, it's these two. Look, a lot of things have to come together. You worry about the long-term health. Short-term, I don't have any worries. I think if these guys are on the mound, they're going to pitch well.
Yeah, 5.85 ERA for Verlander in his postseason starts last year. I mean, and he is 40.
He did win a World Series.
Well, pitched 5 innings. He pitched 5 innings against the Phillies and got through the game. 100%. You're 100% right. He did a good job there in that ball game against the Phillies. How about Scherzer here? He had a rough finish to the year. He says he doesn't want to opt out right now, doesn't want to talk about it. We know that Max is a Hall of Famer, an all-time great. Give me a little rundown on him as far as his year is concerned. What do you see?
Yeah, he's talking about wanting to pitch 200 innings, Chris, which, look, he hasn't done that in quite a few years now. I think the Mets would be happy to sign up right now for $1.75, take some really good innings from Max Scherzer. He has had more, outside of the Tommy John that Justin Verlander had a few years ago, Scherzer has had more physical ailments pop up, whether it's his back, his oblique, his arm in the playoffs a couple of years ago. So you do worry, you do have a little bit of concern, maybe more with Scherzer than you do with Verlander. But again, the results for him have been pretty excellent. You can quibble with the postseason results, but by and large, in the regular season, he has gotten it done when he's needed to. For Scherzer, again, it is about staying healthy. If he can do that, I truly do believe he'll pitch well.
And you like this Mets team to make a big run at the end of the day, Anthony? You think this is a championship level team?
I think it's a championship caliber team. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that they are the best team in the National League. I think there's some really good teams out there, even in the Mets' own division. They're going to have a hard time. Things are going to have to break right for them to come out on top of both the Braves and the Phillies. But talent-wise, roster-wise, you look at these 3 teams in the NL East combined, I think it's hard not to take the Mets roster. They have a lot of good veterans. They have a lot of playoff-tested guys. They have a little bit of youth, but really this is a win-now team. And yes, love what the Braves are doing in Atlanta. They have set themselves up very, very well, not just for this year, but for years to come. For the Mets, this is about this year. This is about Justin Verlander still having it, Max Scherzer still having it, all the things we just talked about. By the way, a very good lineup. Pretty much everyone in there is in their prime right now. So it's about winning now. I think the Mets do have the team to do it.
Good job, Anthony. Well done. Thank you for the help here today. We'll keep in touch. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Chris.
You got it, Anthony DiComo there on the Mets. We shall see. They are very, very talented, and they have obviously all the components. Dave Winfield with Black History Month. We continue with the Hall of Famer. Stick with us.